requested to be on the agenda tonight. It was my understanding that the trustees were going to present and have official communication regarding an annexation for the village of Cleves. I first asked if there's been any consideration given to that and where we stand this evening on that initiative.
Well, I think we need to put on the record what annexation you're referring to.
Sure. At your last meeting, there was conversation surrounding ongoing work with Administrator Brett and I on a potential annexation of Brunsman Way subdivision prior to finalization of development plans up there. And I know there were questions from the trustees, so I'd first open it up to any questions you'd have and ask if you've given that any formal consideration. And to be clear on that annexation conversation that Mr. Brett and I have had, I'm not asking the board to take any official action on that. I'm merely asking that if I am able to garner full support from the landowners up there under a type 2 annexation expedited process, if the board would object to that or not. The importance there is, again, expediting this process and being able to have the developer get the green light to move forward.
Okay.
And so if there's no objection from the board, we would be able to get this process done in a month or two. If there was an objection, it doesn't change the statutory requirements outlined in the ORC, but it would cause some delay. And we're trying to prevent delay here, or at least plan for it.
Any discussion? Go ahead.
I mean, there were other discussions about our water line at the last meeting as well. And so I don't know, are we discussing that at the same time, or are we dealing with those separately? I'm not really sure.
I think we're discussing it afterwards, same time, but afterwards.
I think we were trying to uncouple those two issues so
Sure.
one wasn't dependent on the other.
Okay.
But we're going to address it.
But it is
I believe.
next on
right
his.
after this.
And not to interrupt the board, I do have that as part of my conversation piece this evening. I'd like to come to an understanding and resolution on both of those topics and move forward globally with the partnership with the trustees and the village. I understand there were some questions and potential misinformation. I want to clear that up to the community and the board. Our goal has been and still is to be good partners and neighbors to the trustees and to serve our community the best we can.
You know, as far as things go, you know, in my opinion, under that expedited type 2 scenario, I certainly don't want to stand in the way if people are going to sign off on it and say that's what they want. I for one don't feel like I'm going to stand in the way of that.
I appreciate that.
But that's 100% participation from those residents, correct?
So under an expedited type 2, it would require full support from the landowners there. There's obviously other statutes that would still allow us statutorily to do that. If we have majority support, we can still move forward. Obviously, the trustees could object. I'm obviously in a perfect scenario, we would have full landowner support. I'm asking that if whether we have full support or majority support, that the trustees, the board will not object and delay that process for us.
Can I ask just a ballpark? How many residents are we talking up there?
There's currently approximately 8 residences there. One is already in Cleves Baileywood. There's 7 new developments, 7 new plots that will potentially be developed, 6 to 7, depending on the topography. There is some land slippage issue on one side of the roadway, which may eliminate the 7th. So yeah, 7 or 8 currently, and another 6 to 7 going in. And these will be between $350,000 and $500,000 homes. It's not a large-scale development; it's just a completion of the project.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I'm inclined to support it as well, or at least not, object, so long as there's. I know Trustee Blanton just brought up 100%. I don't know. You're saying, just a majority. I don't know if there's somewhere in between. Not to get too nitpicky, but 60% or 75%. I don't really know, but you just, in my mind, I'm just wanting to know that a decent amount of the homeowners.
Well, the 100% is expedited, correct? And that's in 30 to 60 days it can be done.
It's obviously there's full landowner support, and generally that's for a single parcel. It can be multiple, but if there's 100% landowner support, and it's a type 2 annexation, that's obviously the most expeditious form of annexation. There's obviously other means to it, and so as long as there's majority support, it can still be an expedited process.
And that's a longer process, is what I'm getting at.
Obviously, if you have full support, it's the quickest. If you have majority, it's still faster, and if you have little or no support, it can still be done statutorily, but obviously that's a more lengthy process. We don't envision that being an issue, considering the developer already has the majority landowner ownership in that subdivision, and they're the reason that this conversation's even transpired.
And so I feel like if the residents want to, are in favor of that, then I'm not gonna stand in the way.
I appreciate hearing that from you. I do. I don't have any other conversation on that this evening. I'll keep you updated. I'm sure Mr. Brett and I will have conversations as it progresses forward. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. I hope that that's a first step towards maintaining a healthy relationship between us. And to my other points, bottom line up front, the Village of Cleves feels like we've acted as a responsible steward and a willing partner in the Miami Township, whether that be emergency services, infrastructure, or other shared regional priorities. When I came here, I thought it was a fair question to ask, are we good stewards to one another? And I think that your actions give me my answer that we are. And I look to continue that. I hope that this is the beginning of a successful partnership for us. I understand that you have a pressing need in the Waterline for Jordan Road and East Miami River Road. And listening to your last meeting, I know there were conversations about that. And quite frankly, it left me a little bit flabbergasted because there was some misinformation spread with that. The Village of Cleves, just to make it clear on the record, that the Village of Cleves did and still does support the East Miami River Road and Jordan Road Waterline Extension project, specifically because it offers clean water and fire protection to residents, which we feel is a human right. Obviously, money plays a factor into everything. And so your plan, at the time of your last meeting, required approximately $250,000 from the Village of Cleves Waterworks. With our budget constraints currently, that's not something that we could take on without extreme strain to our enterprise fund. And with that, that gave me pause. It would have been an overextension of what we were comfortable with, and it wasn't something we were willing to necessarily take on. Mr. Brett and I met last week, and he introduced a new plan. It's a different version of this extension project, and it's at no expense to the Village of Cleves. It doesn't update our infrastructure the way the original plan did, but it still provides the park water, and it still runs the line down Jordan Road, which brings fire protection with it and ultimately allows residents in that area to tap in if they'd like to. So I'd like to make it clear tonight that we will support that initiative and move forward with it.
Wonderful.
Appreciate it.